Welcome to the final battle of the playoffs losers round 1 set between Quest, Verocious Victini, and Ember, Rio Grande Rapidash. This match is going to be the final one of the set. Score right now is 1-1, and both of these teams have shown their prowess. It looks like the teams are pretty similar to before. We do have Quest switching out Donphan for Zygarde 10% again, so this is the first team he used in terms of the roster. And Ember actually makes his first change from Dragalge into Fortress, Fortress being a great switch in to Tapu Bulu, so I think that was a good choice. Not only that, but it could set up Stealth Rock and hit Aerodactyl pretty hard with Gyro Ball. So overall, I do think that was a good switch for him. I'm curious to see how this battle goes. We have seen, again, this struggle between Tapu Bulu and Milotic, and the rest of the team kind of acts around those two central Pokemon in this battle. So let's jump right in and see how this battle goes. In terms of leads, I'm guessing Aerodactyl and Tornadus Theory. Alright, so the battle has begun. We actually start with Zydog, the Zygarde 10%. And Trouser Snake is going to come in. Out goes Zydog and in comes Kuryu. Risky considering Milotic can use Ice Beam. And actually it does use Ice Beam. That's going to bring Kuryu down to 48%. Does a whopping 52%. Of course, it won't 2-hit KO, I think, due to the fact that Grassy Terrains gives Kuryu a little Ice Beam boost. A recovery boost. So Fortress is going to switch in. And Fortress takes that Wood Hammer like a champ. Only does about 23%. That Quad Resist really helping it. And Fortress does get a little recovery from the leftovers and the Grassy Terrain as well. Fortress is now free to set up a Stealth Rock if it so desires. Infernape comes in. Here is Devok to threaten away Fortress. Fortress actually goes for the Gyro Ball, which is going to do 23%. Not terrible damage to Devok, but with that Grassy Terrain, it is able to recover. Fortress is now at full health due to the double leftovers recovery and is going to switch out into Milotic. Flare Blitz hits Milotic, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. Milotic's still at a pretty comfortable HP right now. I'm thinking we'll see Quest switch in Empoleon to Milotic. Yeah, he goes for the U-turn to switch out. In comes Empoleon indeed. Bomber is here. And it takes the Scald. Will it burn? It does not burn Bomber. And thanks to its leftovers and Grassy Terrain, it restores its health fully before the Grassy Terrain goes away. Another Scald is going to hit Bomber. Still not burning. I'm going to assume Bomber sets up Stealth Rock now. Indeed it does. The rocks are now up on Ember's side of the field. Still no rocks on Quest's side, but with Fortress we might see them come out eventually. Bomber sitting at a pretty comfortable HP. Milotic tries to go for that Scald again. No burn still. And Bomber Scalds too, so they exchange Scalds. Milotic's now at 54%, Bomber at 94%. Another Scald is going to hit Bomber, still not burning, and Trouser Snake is at 54%, but the burn is going to bring it down to 38, I believe. 37%. Bomber is still comfortably at 91% HP. In comes Tapu Bulu, Kuryu, and Trouser Snake is going to recover. And that brings it back up to 87%, but Kuryu now can chase it off with those Wood Hammers. Out goes Milotic, in comes Fortress. Stone Edge is going to hit Fortress. It does decent damage, but the double leftover recovery is going to allow Fortress to relatively shrug it off. And Fortress is met with Zydog, the Zygarde 10%. Fortress goes for the Gyro Ball. It does big damage, 49% versus Zydog. Fortress still sitting pretty comfortably at 80% thanks to that double leftovers recovery. And Milotic is going to come in to face Zydog. Ember not taking any chances with Fortress. He wants to keep that alive for Tapu Bulu. 1,000 Arrows is going to do pretty decent damage, but Trouser Snake will be able to recover that off. And out goes Zydog into Kuryu. Trouser Snake does indeed go for the recover. Milotic now at 95%. And Kuryu at 69%. But the grassy terrain is now gone, so its Wood Hammer is not going to be powered up. Fortress comes in. And Horn Leech not going to do much damage, especially since grassy terrain is not present. So Fortress now poised to do some big damage with Gyro Ball or to set up Stealth Rock. Devac comes in, Gyro Ball hits, doing 21%. Devac can use Flare Blitz, however, and take down Fortress. But Fortress is going to switch out before that happens into Milotic. Devac goes for the U-turn, pivoting away, I'm going to guess, into Tapu Bulu or Empoleon. It looks like Kuryu, the Tapu Bulu, is out once again. Tail as old as time, we see Milotic versus Tapu Bulu. As Tapu Bulu restores some HP due to the grassy terrain, soon all that damage done by that first Ice Beam will be gone. Once again, Fortress comes in to take on Kuryu. Wood Hammer not doing a lot of damage. And Fortress being able to recover with that double leftovers recovery. In comes Bomber the Empoleon. And Fortress is going to set up Stealth Rock on Quest side now. And both of these Pokemon are able to double leftovers recovery up. Fortress probably not going to want to take a Scald from Bomber. Yeah, it does decent damage, 37%, bringing Fortress down to 21. And Fortress sets up Spikes too. Bomber does have the ability to defog. I'm not sure if it has it though. I don't think we've seen Quest use defog a single time yet. Then again, we haven't seen Ember use hazards yet. And out goes Fortress into Milotic. Bomber uses Scald, bringing Milotic down below halfway HP. And Trouser Snake is able to recover, so the bulky waters are at near full or full once again. It does look like Bomber goes for the defog, so that's going to remove all the hazards, but Empoleon does have the ability to set up hazards once again. So Milotic is going to Scald. Still not burning Bomber. This Scald luck for Ember is not on his side in this match. Rocks are up once again on Ember's side. So those rocks and spikes that Ember took the time to set up with Fortress were done for naught. Once again, Bomber's hit by the Scald. Once again, it does not burn. And Bomber hits back with its own Scald. We've seen this happen quite a few times already, these bulky waters having at it. Empoleon very comfortable when it's not burned to do the leftovers recovery. Scald going to hit. This time it finally burns, and Bomber is now not able to recover with leftovers. Milotic is brought down to 60%. 54 after the burn. Gonna want to recover soon Tapu Bulu comes in. Kuryu is setting up that grassy terrain. And Milotic calls it out, going for the Ice Beam. The critical hit Ice Beam is able to take down Tapu Bulu. Quest's most valuable Pokemon in this matchup was taken down. The score is 5-6. Milotic is going to be a menace to take out now. In comes Carly the Sigilyph. But Breloom is going to switch out. Carly goes for the Ice Beam. That's enough to take down Breloom. Another critical hit Ice Beam, taking down the resident grass type on the team. It's like a mirror reflecting right back at Ember. 5-5 score, and this time Liability, the Crocodile, is going to come out. The grassy terrain is still active. And Aerodactyl is going to come in to take what I'm going to assume is knockoff. Indeed, it is knockoff, and that brings Rex down to 50%. 2 more knockoffs will be enough after Rex Mega Evolves. Rex does Mega Evolve, stays in. Knockoff's going to bring it down to 11%. And the Earthquake, once again weakened by that grassy terrain, is not going to do much to Liability, who's now free to go for another knockoff and get that Moxie boost. And down goes Rex to the knockoff. Score is 4-5. It looks like Ember has some momentum, but Empoleon or Infernape might be able to scare off Liability. Looks like Devok the Infernape is the one who comes out to face Liability. And Liability is going to switch out into Milotic. Devok goes for the Mach Punch. That's enough to bring Milotic down to 24% after the burn. This is it if Infernape goes for the close combat or the Z move. Alright, it looks like the Z move is used. This is probably going to be enough to take down Milotic. Indeed, it is a very vital Pokemon brought down on Ember's team. It looks like the 2 star Pokemon have been brought down on both teams. 4-4 score. This is going to be a very interesting match as we see the other Pokemon now have a chance to shine. Diancie is going to come out versus Devok. Will it go for that Earth Power? It goes for Power Gem actually, but that is enough to take down Infernape. And the score is 3-4. In comes Zygarde 10%. I do think it could outspeed Mega Diancie. No, actually it doesn't. Mega Diancie goes for the Moonblast. Was that a speed tie? 361, 350. Actually, Mega Diancie is supposed to be slower, but I guess it wasn't running a plus speed nature. Bomber is going to be the next one to come in versus Mega Diancie. Mega Diancie goes for that Earth Power. It does decent damage, but Bomber, if it has Flash Cannon, will be able to do a lot to Diancie, and it does. So Diancie goes down. The score is now 2-3. And in comes Liability, probably going to go for that knockoff to get the attack boost and then be able to take out Sigilyph. It does go for the knockoff, and it's enough to take down Bomber. It's looking like Liability is very comfortable with that Moxie boosted knockoff and a Choice Scarf. Quest's last Pokemon is Sigilyph, and it comes in. Carly the Sigilyph is here to face Liability, but knockoff is enough to take out Carly, and that is the game and set. The score of this game is 3-0 in Emberhost's favor. Rio Grande Rapidash over Quest Verocious Victini. And the set score is 2-1. What a set. Both of these trainers practically even against each other. Really impressive stuff. Ember is going to advance on to losers quarterfinals, and Quest is eliminated from the bracket. But I think Quest did show us he did not really feel comfortable team building with his team this season. He planned his team around Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he wanted to go for a thematic thing. And he realized he didn't really like the team he he went with, but he did get into playoffs, and I think he made his team work for the most part. He did show that he was able to use it pretty well in the latter part of the Victory Road Draft League, and so that was pretty impressive for Quest, and Ember is showing how much he's improved from Season 1, moving on to the top 5 of playoffs. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a really impressive continuation as we look at the other matches coming up. Until then, this is... Oh yeah, and I have one more thing. I was surprised that Quest didn't bring Heliolisk for my Lotic. That was one thing I was really surprised about, because it looks like Heliolisk would have done really well in this matchup, especially with Dry Skin to absorb those Scalds. But yeah, so very interesting match nonetheless, and set. So stay tuned for some more coming up. This is Noel from Sun and Friendly. I'll see you then.